Please.
Tauschak.
Here.
Herman.
Here.
Matzdorf. Here. Gilson.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Penkwitz.
Here.
Binder.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next is a pledge. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Nelson.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Matzdorf.
Yes.
Penkwitz.
Yes.
Tauschak.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Binder.
Yes.
Gilson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next item is the audience portion where we ask people to be signed in and recognized. You do the talking, we do the listening. Tonight, no one signed in. We certainly encourage people, if they have something to talk to the council about, that they come and address the council. Item 5 is not needed. No items were removed from the consent agenda. Item 6, awards. I'll at this time call on our police chief, Ken, to take over the awards ceremony. Ken.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Common Council. Tonight, we'd like to recognize one of our own, so I'm going to have Officer Nick Constance come join me up here, if you would, please. Right here's good. So, Nick Constance joined the Plymouth Police Department on March 7th, 2022, after serving 4 years in the Marine Corps Reserve. Over the past 2.5 years, he has become a standout, especially in the areas of traffic enforcement and OWI enforcement. He was also selected last year to the Sheboygan County Dive Team, and this year is selected to join the Sheboygan County SWAT Team. Next month, we're actually sending him to instructor development training so he can help train the future of our police department. He is definitely someone, as you can hear, likes to stay busy and active. But tonight, we're going to honor a different part of Nick. Instead, it is his commitment to treat everyone in our community with dignity and respect that we are honoring. This past August, while patrolling on the 3rd shift, Officer Constance found a man walking near the old Plymouth Armory in the middle of the night. By his own admission, this man was a little out of sorts, as he described it. But rather than assuming the worst, Officer Constance struck up a conversation with the man and found out that he had recently received some chemotherapy for his cancer. Treatments that make it difficult for him to sleep sometimes. So the man went for a walk in the middle of the night to try to ease his mind. And we later learned that this man strolling during the night was our own Alderman, Greg Hildebrand. Greg, would you like to tell the rest of that story?
Sure, I would. You know, we were talking a little bit in the name, but the night when I rode along with you, but that few minutes was a conversation to me. You know, sometimes you gotta take it that way, and it made me look at you as an officer. You know, the kindness you gave me, and I wanted to thank you for your respect that night. I mean, it meant a lot. And you know, and I wanted to make sure by talking to your chief that you knew you were appreciated as an officer of Plymouth. And I want to thank you, Nick.
Thank you. So tonight we are presenting Nick with our first ever Meritorious Conduct Award. I will read the award aloud here. Presented to Officer Nicholas Constance, badge number 767. It was dated October 29, 2024, because we were hoping to present this at the previous council, but states, on a warm August night, Officer Constance found a man walking in the middle of the night near the old Plymouth Armory. He approached and struck up a conversation with the man, later finding out he was Alderman Greg Hildebrand. Greg was out of sorts due to the recent round of chemotherapy, and on this particular night, Greg stated an officer could have easily assumed the worst about him. But Officer Constance treated Greg with respect and dignity. They talked for several minutes, all the while Officer Constance showing genuine concern for Greg's well-being and health. Officer Constance, for your kindness and compassion to our community and its residents, we take great pride in presenting you this Meritorious Conduct Award. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Moving on, item 7, we have 4 items, so I don't scare everybody in the audience. Each time we do this, we're gonna drop the gavel and keep you all on the edge of your seats. I hereby declare public hearing for resolution number 11, adopting the annual budget, making appropriations, and levying 2024 property tax. I'll call on our city administrator, Tim Blakesley, for a brief description. Tim?
Yeah, so this is a public hearing, as the mayor said, adopting resolution number 11, adopting the 2025 budget, making appropriations, and levying the property taxes. So over 3 meetings in August, September, and September, the Finance and Personnel Committee discussed the 2025 budget. They went over city services, city projects, and the impacts of the levy amount, tax rate, and utility rates. So a summary is in the memo, and I'll run through those briefly. The full budget document is included and is also included on the website for anyone interested under the key documents directory. So for the 2025 budget, we're looking at a 0.63% levy limit or levy decrease, which is $30,371. The 2024 budget was an increase of 2.14%. There is a 1.67 assessed tax rate increase from 5.92 per thousand to 6.06 per thousand. This means that a home valued at $200,000 will see a city property tax increase of approximately $2.38 per month, or $28.65 per year. This includes prior direction to phase in the trash and recycling fee, which totals over several years, $9.46 per year. There is 0% increase to the water and wastewater utilities, and there is a rate case submission currently pending at the PSC for the electric utility that was heard by the council earlier this year and will go into effect in 2025. We do have a 3% wage increase for employees and the continuation of the police union contract. The wage resolution will be adopted at the next council meeting. There have been no significant changes from the budget work session. We were just waiting on some final numbers for the state. Those aligned with our expectations. So staff does recommend approval of resolution number 11, adopting the 2025 annual budget. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Being a public hearing, the chair will recognize anyone in the audience and/or on the council for any comments that they wish to make on the city budget. It's always a difficult process to go through, but I do appreciate the effort that Tim, you and your staff put in and bringing it in under 2%, which was the prescribed wishful thinking number, and you were successful in doing that. Any other comments by anybody? I declare the public hearing closed. The chair will entertain a motion adopting resolution 11, the annual budget, making appropriations and levying 2024 property taxes.
Mayor, I'd like to move that we approve resolution number 11.
I'll second the motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Herman,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Penkwitz,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Hildebrandt.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Our second public hearing is related also to our third public hearing, but we will handle each of those separately. Item B, ordinance number, gotta do that right. I declare a public hearing open for ordinance number 18, an ordinance amending the City of Plymouth, Wisconsin Comprehensive Plan existing land use map and future land future land use map by changing property from agricultural and commercial to residential, parcel 592718290009. I'll ask our city administrator to start the public discussion. Tim?
Yeah, so tonight I'm going to talk about both the comp plan, which is ordinance number 18, and ordinance number 19, which is the rezoning together. They are both combined, but one public hearing comes first and then the other. So again, this is parcel 592718290009. This is located on the south side of Columbia Drive, west of the Baymont Hotel in Plymouth. With the property owner's approval, Terrace Realty is requesting a comprehensive plan amendment and rezoning for proposed senior housing / workforce housing development. The current comprehensive plan lists this as commercial, and their request is a comprehensive plan amendment to designate this parcel as residential. With the upcoming lawn guard development west of Walmart, the inclusion of this parcel as a prospect for residential in TID 7 project plan, and our growing in senior and workforce housing needs, staff does recommend the comprehensive plan amendment. And then moving on to the rezoning, it is currently zoned as B1, which is business office. The request rezoning is to R6, which is our high-density multifamily residential. That was the more recently created high-density district to allow for some larger size developments. So the property to the north is zoned vacant. The property to the east is a Baymont Hotel, zoned planned office. The property to the east is the Baymont Hotel, zoned B1. The properties to the south include a vacant parcel, zoned B1, a shopping center anchored by Dollar Tree, zoned B1. The property for the west is vacant, zoned PO, which is planned office. Since the proposed rezoning is residential limited to high-density uses, staff is comfortable with this location amidst the other business uses. Recent planning trends do favor intermixing of high-density multifamily and business so they can support one another. The Common Council strategic plan did include expanding economic development and increased housing for all as recommendations. So staff does recommend the rezoning to R6. Happy to answer any questions on either the rezoning or the comp plan.
Thank you. Being a public hearing, the chair will recognize anyone who wants to talk on ordinance number 18, comprehensive plan change. Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed for ordinance number 18, an ordinance amending the City of Plymouth, Wisconsin Comprehensive Plan existing land use map and future land use to resident plan by changing property from agricultural and commercial to residential, parcel 592718290009. The chair will entertain a motion on ordinance number 18 as presented.
I'll move approval of ordinance number 18.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion?
Mayor, could I just add that the Plan Commission did also unanimously recommend this
Correct.
request?
Thank you. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Pankwitz,
Yes.
Mattsdorf,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Bender,
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. I declare a public hearing open for ordinance number 19, an ordinance amending section 13-1-21 zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Plymouth, parcel 592718290009. As Administrator Blakesley said, this is related to the item ordinance 18 we just discussed. Chair will recognize anyone who wants to comment on this at a public hearing. Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Chair will entertain a motion on ordinance 19, amending section 13-1-21 zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Plymouth, parcel 592718290009.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 19.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll on ordinance number 19.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Mattsdorf,
Yes.
Bender,
Yes.
Pankwitz.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to item D, I declare a public hearing open for ordinance number 20, an ordinance amending section 13-1-21 zoning map of the zoning code of the city of Plymouth, parcel number 5927-182-1078. I'll ask Tim Blakely, our city administrator, for a brief comment. Tim?
Sure, so ordinance number 20, the parcel just mentioned is located south of Jimmy John's Scooters and the Advanced Auto Parts, and the vacant parcel ending in 077. In your memo, it is outlined in blue. So Plankview Green Development is requesting a rezoning for an upcoming multifamily project. They're requesting rezoning from R4, which is our multifamily, to R6, which is our high-density residential. The properties to north, again, are that vacant parcel, currently Jimmy John's Scooters and Advanced Auto Parts, all zoned to B3. To the west is the Pick and Save Shopping Center, zoned to B3. The Hunter's Ridge Apartments, zoned R4, and the property to the south is zoned vacant, which is Ag. The property is, to the east is the town, and is a vacant wooded area. The comprehensive plan map already designates this as residential development, so no comprehensive plan amendment is needed. For the same recommendation reasons as noted in the previous one, the strategic plan does note expanded economic development, increased housing options for all, as opportunities in our strategic plan for future development. As previously noted, the Plan Commission did unanimously also recommend this request to the Common Council for approval. So staff does recommend ordinance number 20.
Thank you. The chair will recognize anyone who wants to speak on ordinance number 20 as indicated. I declare the public hearing closed for ordinance number 20, and ordinance amending section 13-1-21, zoning map of the zoning code of the city of Plymouth, parcel 5927-182-1078. Chair will entertain a motion on ordinance number 20 as presented.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 20.
I'll second the motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll on ordinance number 20.
Penquits,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschak.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item 8. This is kind of a housekeeping item, so sometimes necessary things have to be done. Ordinance number 21, an ordinance amending section 15-1-4 of the city of Plymouth, Wisconsin, general ordinances regarding adoption of camping unit state code. I'll ask our city administrator, Tim Blakely, for a brief comment. Tim?
Yeah, just a very brief comment. As the mayor mentioned, this is a housekeeping item. In the process of notifying the state we were switching building inspectors, they let us know that we have not adopted SPS 327, which relates to camping units. We don't have any camping units or sites in Plymouth. However, should we ever have them in the future, we need to have this code adopted. It's required by the state. So they told us to take our time, over the next couple months and get it adopted. So this is us moving that requirement forward as ordinance number 21. So happy
Thank
to
you
answer
very
any
much.
questions.
The chair will entertain a motion on ordinance number 21 as indicated.
Mayor, I'll move that we approve ordinance 21 as indicated.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion on ordinance number 21? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschak,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Penquits.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 9, new business. Item A, discussion and possible action of Ski Hill lease agreement approval. I'll ask Tim Blakely for a brief description on that. Tim?
This is a very exciting item. The Nut Ski Hill has not been operated for organized winter recreation since February of 2014, and over the past 2 years, a group of Plymouth community members formed a nonprofit organization called Cheese Capital Winter Park LLC to explore the reestablishment of Nut Hill for winter recreation. You'll probably recall about a year and a half ago in July 2023, Cheese Capital Winter Park did present that concept to our committee of the whole, seeking feedback. They received that consensus to move forward, continue planning, and finalize that design. Then earlier this year in April, the Chiefs Capital Winter Park presented their updated concept to the committee of whole, and at that meeting, the direction was again to continue to move forward and negotiate on a license agreement with the group. So over the past couple of meetings in closed session, the council has worked on negotiating with the Chiefs Capital Winter Park LLC, and the agreement as negotiated is attached. At the Plan Commission meeting on November 7th, 2024, the Plan Commission did unanimously recommend the Common Council approve the agreement, the exclusive license agreement with Chiefs Capital Park Winter Park LLC as presented. So staff is happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion on item 9A, discussion and possible action of Ski Hill license agreement approval.
Mayor, I'll move to approve the Ski Hill exclusive license with the Chiefs Capital Winter Park LLC.
I'll second that motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? I will comment that we do have representatives in the audience this evening. If you have the need to clarify something, the chair will allow conversation with the representatives. Seeing none, clerk will call the roll, please.
Pankwitz,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Gilson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you to the Capital Winter Park Group. Very good. It's exciting. Moving on to item B, new business, discussion and possible action of Sargento Development Agreement update. I'll ask Tim Blakesley, our city administrator, for a brief description. Tim?
Sure, this is another, I would call, minor housekeeping item. So in July 2019, the city of Plymouth and Sargento did enter into a development agreement where the city vacated a portion of the cul-de-sac on Sunset Drive to allow Sargento to construct a private roadway and parking area, and then in exchange, Sargento would, at its cost, reconstruct Sunset Drive further to the south. So the attached agreement extends the time period to September 2025 in which they have to complete that repair. This plan was presented to Plan Commission in November, so they are proceeding on the project, and we expect that to happen next year. So staff does recommend approval of the agreement with Sargento.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion for discussion and possible action of Sargento Development Agreement update as indicated.
I move to discuss and with possible action of the Sargento Development Agreement.
Mike, perhaps you mean move to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Thank you. We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Pankwitz,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Binder,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And moving on to new business item C, discussion and possible action of substation relay panels. I'll ask Tim Blakesley to give us a brief summary on that. Tim?
Sure. So as previously mentioned in some of these substation bids, the Public Service Commission did grant us authority on February 1st, 2024, and issued their final order on March 4th, 2024, a certificate of authority to construct the substation in the town of Mitchell. We're moving forward with the bidding of the various items. This is the last major bidding item for the substation. These are the relay panels. The low bid was from EP2 in an amount of $201,044. So per attachment one, our engineering consultant, Forrester Electrical Engineering, has evaluated the bid and does note them as the lowest qualified bidder. These bids are a little higher than originally budgeted, but the scope has expanded to include SCADA, which is communications between the substation and other components. In addition, costs for these components has slightly increased since the project was originally scoped. Forrester believes that Plymouth would not receive better pricing by rebidding these components, so we do recommend moving forward at this time. As noted previously, please recall that ANR will pay 8/11ths of the cost per the substation agreement, and the utilities will pay 3/11ths of the cost. So staff does recommend approval of the Substation 5 relay panels from EP2, subject to staff attorney approval.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
Mayor, I'll move that we approve the substation relay panels.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. I assume that that's in
With-
contingent with the agreement as indicated. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Discussion, anyone? I only have one question. Is this all related to our PSC agreement and/or legal battle over the substation facility and continued construction?
Correct. So this certificate of authority was granted by the Public Service Commission. We did receive notification on the judicial review today that the Circuit Court did decide with PSC and Plymouth Utilities in this case.
So we're going full bore ahead.
Correct.
Very timely item on the agenda tonight. Thank you. Chair, do we have a first and a second? Yeah. Any other comments? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Just one question.
Go ahead.
I know the transmission lines are a separate issue. Is that still being,
Correct. That is still under consideration at the
Consideration.
Public Service Commission. Yep.
Clerk will call the roll, please.
Binder,
yes?
Penquitz,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Mattsdorf.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. The next item, we're going to be going into closed session. When we come out of closed session.